Welcome to Stay at Home Dads, a podcast.
With your hosts, Drew and Justin, a place where we talk about a lot of guy stuff.
And a little bit of dad stuff too. So kick back, relax, and let's talk. Oh man, yeah. What else? What else you been up to? What's
So my most recent thought I wanted to talk to you about was there is like a lot of places I've realized that like within our lifetimes have just completely vanished. Like I'm talking like brick and mortar places like Blockbuster, for instance. But the most recent one that I like thought of was when I was a little kid at the mall. There was always like these photo shops where you go, like photo studios, and you get a family portrait taken. And I don't think they exist. Like I haven't seen one, at least in the malls around here, for like a long time now. Do you?
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've seen those either. I mean, it's been like a year since I've been to a mall, but like I know exactly what you're talking about, like where you see like the 11-year-old boy in the sweater and the dad in like a cheap polo shirt, and you know what I mean? Like, and they're in there for their family with the super generic background, and like, yeah.
Is that like a common American thing, like experience? Because I'm from Iowa and I don't know like how like regional it was, but every year of my life, I remember being like dragged to the mall, being made to wear like some like ridiculous like sweater vest tie combo, and like having some like little lady like squeeze like a squeezy toy trying to get me to smile, like, you know what I mean? Like, smile, and like she's being all dumb, and I'm like, oh my god, this again. So was that
I just want to go get a Wetzel's pretzel.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? We probably got pretzels after that, or before that, after that, because we'd spill it on ourselves.
Yeah, I think there was I guarantee there's pictures of me at my parents' house with me with a buzz cut, with like a sweater with like suspenders on.
Yes, I've got the same outfit. Like I got suspenders, like, dude, 80s were like a time. 80s and 90s were a time.
And I was probably like 8 or 9, somewhere in that age range. And it had like a gray background with like a salty kind of look,
Yeah.
That has to be like a mall thing, like a
like I vaguely
whatever those are called, photo
like like some kind of weird, I don't know what they were even called, but I do remember they had like these like kind of like platforms that they would like drape like carpets over or something, and like you'd get on there all like, and it'd be like all awkward, and like they'd be like, okay, now put your arm around your sister, and you'd be like, and like it just never looked natural, but like they're trying to get you to all pose like,
okay, Drew, put up your knee.
Exactly. Turn your face slightly this way. Exactly.
Look up here.
You do remember it? You do remember those? Yeah. That was.
I just saw an article. I saw like an article about. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, it's Costco. They have like the photo development places in Costco. Mm-hmm. And those are like, I heard they're going to take those out of Costco completely. So they won't like develop pictures anymore. They won't do like the photo stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like a dying like thing. I think, you and I used to work at Target, and there was a photo.
We need to talk about Target. We got to go into Target in a sec. Okay.
Yep. There was a photo booth in there. Remember?
Yeah.
Where you would bring your film and then they would develop your film and all that. And they got rid of those. I don't know. That's probably more than 10 years ago. So, I think everyone's got a phone, I mean, this is a 1080 camera that shoots, in 4K and whatever else type camera talk, and
yeah. Well, what's really weird though is like you have like this generational gap. So, excuse me. So my grandparents, they don't have like Facebook, and they're not seeing like any of the pictures of like my baby or like of us. And they're like, we would really like it if you would send us like an 8x10 of like your baby. And I'm like, oh my God, like where do you even go to get that? And like, there's like websites you can like send your digital pictures to, and they'll actually like, so I've had to do that just to please my grandparents. So the services exist, but it's not like it used to be where you take your film to like the drugstore and like they develop like a roll, like,
that was mainstream. That was like the way, like there was none of this. Like I remember a time too, like as it was changing, I feel like in the 2000s, it's all in 2000s, but so you had the photo huts, And then you had the cameras. I don't know if you remember like the old school, I probably have one somewhere of the old kind of digital camera, but you could plug it into like this picture printer. Did you ever see one of those? You'd plug this camera into a picture printer and then you could physically print out your pictures at home.
My dad,
and it was super expensive. Like the cartridges were super pricey and all that, but you could print out like a, what are they?
Like a 4x6
picture, and they would shoot out.
My dad had it like, and it would print out, and it would be like a photo quality like photo. Like did you have to cut them? I can't remember if you had to cut them out.
You might have, I don't recall, but it was that was like the transition to like the now people don't, now nobody, now you have Instagram and Facebook and all these other social medias and stuff that people don't make. There's no pictures anymore. Like,
it's so weird.
I mean, we got Olivia's school picture. We have it. We're going to hang it up in this office, but we got like the old school with the old school backgrounds, you know, and she's 6 and she's all sitting there smiling and stuff. And we had to cut those out, so those are still like a normal thing. You'll get there eventually with your daughter. But
so you're saying that when they take the school pictures, you still get like the package deals where like you got to cut out like the little tiny,
you get all the wallets, and then you get like an 8x10, and you get like a 4x6.
Well, I'm glad that's still a thing, because that's nostalgic for me, is remembering like, oh, I want to get like, you get like your friends' wallets and like they get yours, and like you trade like your pictures with everybody. But
so like that was like social media back then. Like it was like, hey Samantha, here's my picture. I signed the back of it,
Well, it's so weird because of Facebook now. I don't even think about sending pictures to my friends or my family, because my friends and family should be following me on Facebook if they want to see like my life.
Right.
So it's kind of become like this like scrapbook that's just like public domain. Like, look at my life.
And it's free, and there's nothing. I mean, I think too that like Facebook and social media in our age killed the like high school reunions. Like, why do I need to go to a high school reunion when I can see all my 90 classmates and where they work and what they do and what they did last weekend? Like, I can see it. I can keep up with their life if I want to.
Exactly.
I don't need to go meet up and take a weekend and go eat a dinner and have a potluck and reminisce. Like, you can see it online. I think it kind of ruined that for these new generations.
Yeah. I've also heard that Facebook, I didn't realize this, but Facebook is also kind of like limited to like it's a certain generation that uses it. So for instance, I don't know if I want to say like 30 to 40-year-old some things are using it, but I do know that like kids in high school right now, they don't care about Facebook. Like, it's all like, I think it's Instagram or Snapchat or something. Like, I'm not on Snapchat, but like, yeah, I've heard it's kind of like, it's already become like this thing that's like not cool for like the young kids, but like
it's already aging. It's already aging out.
But like for us, like 30 to 40 to, but then you have to understand that our parents that are like in their 50s to 60s or 70s now, a lot of them are also on Facebook because of us, because we've brought them into this world. So like my dad's on Facebook, my mom's on Facebook, like that kind of crap,
Right. Yeah. My niece that is here now for college, she's 18 and she does not have a Facebook.
That's what I'm talking about. Like the young kids are like, that's for old people. And
I'm like, I tell her too, I'm like, hey, you should like get one. And like, you can like this and that. And she's like, she doesn't even care.
There's no appeal to it because nothing but old people are on Facebook to them. Like, we're old people now. That's what I'm getting at. Like, we're old people now. Yeah. I mean, I did just turn 40. I mean, I'm almost 41. So like, technically this is like the definition of middle age now. Like,
oh yeah, I'll be 39 in June, dude. Like 39.
Assuming average human age now is like in the 80-year-old range, like we are technically right smack dab in the middle of middle age.
We're halfway to death.
But technically,
is that a morbid way to think of that? I don't know.
I welcome it. Bring it on. No, but I lost train of thought.
Best Buy. Like, I know Best Buy is still around, right? And it's like still like a pretty big company. It's like global, but it kind of sucks. Like, I feel like it kind of like, compared to like what it used to be like in the early 2000s, and you could go in and look, you could like play video games and you could like look at all the CDs and you could check out the car stereos and stuff. And now I feel like they just sell like appliances and TV. I don't know. Like the vibe is like off for me. It seems kind of dumb, but
do you feel like it's something to do with the way technology is kind of like progressed and like now there's like Amazon or like you can order everything offline or?
I think so. I mean, you can order anything online now, it's like, it's limitless. I mean, there's still certain things that you like, but like for the people that it's like, CDs, like they don't really make, I don't even think do they make CDs anymore? I don't even know.
What's weird is like, that's how old school I am is like, I still wish I could buy CDs, but I feel like everything now is just downloadable. Like you don't buy, you know what I mean? Like even like DVDs or Blu-rays now, like they've got like digital options where you can just like purchase it. But what sucks for me, like maybe it's because I'm from the 80s and 90s, but like I grew up being a collector and I wanted to buy the thing, have the thing, put the thing on my shelf and look at the thing. And now it's like, that doesn't exist. You know?
It's like tangibility, like tangible. Like I have this $40 Blu-ray, and it's like, if I did like, maybe that's like showing the age of myself, but like if I digitally buy it, like on my computer, I'm like, well, how do I watch it on my TV? Like,
exactly.
I mean, I sound super old because I know it's like, well, there's just the fucking cloud and you can do, whatever. But I don't understand that. Like,
dude, I went to Target. This was like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was coming out on Blu-ray or on, for home, whatever purchase. And I go in there like the day it comes out and I was like, hey, I'm like, where's your Guardians of the Galaxy Blu-ray? And like, they're like looking at me like I got a dick growing out of my forehead because they're like, you can like purchase it digitally. And I'm like, but I want the thing, like I want the box. And like, they're like, oh, well, I think we've got some, but they looked at me like I was so like dinosaur. Like I was asking for like an 8-track, like I want the cassette tape. Where's the cassette tape of the,
You go in and you're like, hey, I want this. And they're like, why?
They're like, why do you want the cassette tape?
Why?
I was like, because it's awesome. I got by the way, that was the last Blu-ray that I've probably ever bought because I felt so stupid, like asking Target for the Blu-ray. Now I've kind of accepted when you buy things, you can just digitally download them. So
have you digitally downloaded and bought something online like that?
Yeah. We've got.
How does that process work?
It's so sad because like we've got Thor Ragnarok or something on digital and like it's just stored in the interweb cloud. I don't know where it really exists, but like if I pull up Amazon, I can see it and I can click on it and like I have that movie now, but it's not the same of having like that box on my right. On my shelf.
Yeah.
So.
Something like a thing, I mean,
yeah.
Oh, by the way, Best Buy stopped selling CDs in 2018.
Did you just look that up?
Yeah.
Dude, you were on it.
So I feel like Best Buy used to be so cool. And now it's like they have like a partnership with like Whirlpool and they sell like refrigerators more than they sell like cool stuff. Or it feels so like streamlined and like Apple Store-esque. Like it's all like, here's the apples and here's the PCs and stuff like that, and
I think it's just a sign of the times. Like honestly, if you look, okay, so let's talk about Toys R Us. When I was a little kid, Toys R Us was a super special thing. Even like if you couldn't get anything there, if you could just convince your parents, like, can we please go to Toys R Us, please? And like they're like, okay, but you can't get anything. I'm like, okay. And like just like walking Toys R Us was like Disneyland as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
the reason these places have gone away is because anything you could have gotten in Toys R Us now is instantly available, like on Amazon or like through, like online purchasing. I mean, you still got like toy sections and like Target and like some other department stores, but dude, my daughter is never going to know the joy of walking into Toys R Us and hearing like the music on the speakers being like, oh, my Toys R Us kid. And like, it just felt so like, it was such a happy feeling,
like wholesome, like, I mean, she's never gonna, like, our kids will never experience that. Like my eyes are gonna explode because there's like this store is full of only toys. That's all that is in here. It's just toys for kids. Like that's it. Like
there was like fantasy toys that I would like walk by and I was like, oh, I want that. But I knew like I was never going to get it because I wanted like this giant like G.I. Joe aircraft carrier that was like, the box was like bigger than my body. And I just would like stare at it and be like, oh yeah, someday,
One
you
day.
know, someday. But like, yeah, she's never going to be able to go into that. Like, this was like a store as big as like, if not bigger than like a Target or Walmart. And it was all toys, like every aisle, you know?
I mean, even I think it was still open. Olivia was born in 2014, and I think it was still open. Like, I don't know when it closed. I don't know when Toys R Us closed. Maybe like 17 or 18, somewhere in there.
I was sad. I remember it happening. Like, it was in the news, and I was like, what?
Yeah, and I had gone in there because I had taken Olivia in there to look at stuff. And even me, as like a mid-30s adult, was like still in awe of like
how big it was.
This whole thing of Power Wheels, and then this whole thing of like every Lego set you could think of is literally here. This is every Lego set.
yeah.
And then you go, and then they had like drones and like remote control cars, and then like Hot Wheels, and then Barbie, like section upon section of Barbies. And it was like awe-inspiring for me. I was like, well, this is like amazing. Like, I like going in there and just looking at all that junk, you know.
Dude, it was just like, it was like the promised land for a kid. Like, oh my God. I used to love action figures. Like, that was like my thing. I don't know what you were into as a kid, but I collected action figures. And like, I just remember not like being like blown away by how long like the aisles were just filled with action figures. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
what was your favorite action figures? What was like your go-to?
Well, it changed obviously like throughout our lifetime, but it started with He-Man or Star Wars. I think it was He-Man, then Star Wars, and then it started going into like Mask, G.I. Joe, you know, then you get into like Ghostbusters, like, you know, like as the pop culture stuff was coming out, like I was like, I gotta get the action figure for this. Like a movie come out, like I gotta get the Batman, like, you know,
as the movie hyped
the toy,
and these characters are out, and then you're like,
oh, turtles. I missed that. Like, that was a huge chapter in my life. So, but yeah, man, it's just sad. I actually went to a grand opening of a Toys R Us, and they had like all these people dressed up as different kid characters. There actually was like a Ninja Turtle. There was like, what was that giraffe? Jeffrey the giraffe? I don't remember.
That's right.
Jeffrey,
I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah.
He was walking around like, and I didn't know that was just going to be for like the opening day. I was like, are they going to be here all the time? Like, cause I'm a little, it was literally like I said, like Disneyland or Disney World, like, cause I went there and there was like these freaking like Ninja Turtles walking around and stuff. I'm like, oh my God.
This is like
heaven. Yeah. So I'm just, I don't know, man. It's a weird world we live in, because your daughters, my daughter, they're never going to experience that joy of a Toys R Us, you know?
And it's like, I just came across a documentary. I was actually just cruising through Netflix tonight, just before we got on this call. And I was just going through the documentaries. Do you watch documentaries at all? Mm-hmm. Do you watch them?
Absolutely. I love documentaries, yes.
So I just was going through, and you know how you click and watch the previews, and they had some documentaries on, and it was talking about like material things and stuff, and how like society is like, it kind of goes to like brick and mortar and being able to order anything off Amazon, but like how you could literally like, you can click on something on your phone and it'll say on there, it'll be like, if you order in the next 2 hours, you can have this by 8 p.m. tonight.
I know.
And like that's like, it's like magic. It's like sorcery, you know? And it's like,
do you remember?
I don't have to leave my house. I don't have to get dressed. I don't have to get in my car. All I have to do is push a button and it's here.
Do you remember being a kid ordering something and it could take like a goddamn like half year?
Yeah.
Pardon my French, but like, okay, so yeah, we're spoiled now because Amazon, like, I click on something and it says, you can expect us in 2 days. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So when I ordered this lightsaber, and I'm not trying to like down on Saberforge, because they're like, I really highly recommend this company. It's probably one of the best saber companies around. But yeah, their wait time is 4 months. I ordered this the beginning of October. I just got this the end of January. So, but it's worth it. But that 4 months in today's time period, that was like 10 years. So,
right. Oh yeah. I mean, for typically how fast you get things, like, I mean, it boggles my mind. Like, and even like a video, like you said, you ordered that Thor movie
Mm-hmm.
and it's digital. Boom, you have it. You didn't have to go anywhere. You didn't have to order it. You didn't have to like go to a store and buy it. You didn't, or even like with pandemic times now, like I don't even have to go to a movie theater anymore. Like I can just pay $20 and buy a brand new movie and rent it and watch it in my underwear on my couch. Like,
okay, you brought me to like a big point that I'm afraid of right now. So I can't explain to you how much I enjoy like the movie theater experience. Like something about going to the movies, like walking into the dark theater, like smelling the popcorn, like having the idiots talking next to me when I want them to be quiet. Like I cherish that. And when I was like a little kid, like in middle school, if I had a date, I would take a girl to a movie. And like, even like in my adulthood, I would take a girl to a movie. Like we do dinner in a movie, or, you know what I mean? So I'm petrified. I'm terrified that we're going to like lose the whole like in theater movie experience at some point, just because of like the pandemic and streaming. And I mean, have you heard anything? Cause I think AMC just got like a bailout because they were like struggling.
What was it? Century or one of them I thought like was done, like shut down, but
they completely like closed doors. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what one, but I don't know. Like you said though, too, it's like a kind of a nostalgic thing, and people are dying to kind of get back to that type of life, So I think that it might come back, but I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, pandemic times and just general technology has changed everything from dating to eating out. I mean, you can Grubhub into your house now. I mean, I just saw like a Match.com commercial, and they were literally going on like a Zoom, like just like we're doing on the it was like a Zoom date, and they were like drinking and eating the same meal that they
like were they carrying their phone around and like talking to the person like while they're like going out or something, or what do you do?
No, they were like at their house, and they were just like on a Zoom call and like drinking alcohol and cheersing, and
they're like cheers.
Yeah, like cheers. Oh man, it's great meeting you. And just doing like this type of like, it's gonna change like everything, I think. I mean, it's dude,
it's weird. Like technology is a double-edged sword. Like I feel like with as much good that comes out of it, there's also like a lot of things that we have to kind of like just accept that are gonna fall by the wayside, basically. Do you remember Blockbuster Video? Obviously you do.
Yeah. I used to have the Blockbuster thing on my keys. Like,
everybody did. Like, I mean, that are in their 30s and 40s now, like us. But dude, that was another thing. Like, just like Toys R Us, I have a nostalgic like memory of it's Friday night. My dad like has my brother and I for the weekend, and he's like, let's go to Blockbuster. And we're like, yeah, Blockbuster. And and we go there, and like the movie we want, like they actually had like the physical not cassettes, but videotapes like that were like lining the walls, and like you had to like try to find one, and like I mean you could reserve one if there wasn't the movie you wanted, and it was just an experience of like going there and like not knowing what you're gonna get. And then sometimes you just rent like a real wild card video, and it could be hit or miss, you're like, oh my god, this is horrible.
Yeah, you like it being like Friday night, and you go check, you go in, and you remember up on the wall it would say new releases in this section over here, that was the new release section. So then you go check that out.
That was the hot section.
Everything's gone.
Like, everything's gone.
So then you turn around, and then you have like the aisles. Remember the aisles that down the center of the store? Well, that was
they were like the crap movies,
the dramas and like the actions from like 10 years ago. They kind of like
5 to 10 years old. Yeah,
for like teenage kids like us, we're like, those kind of like suck. But
that came out
but that's where you'd end up going over there and buying a 99-cent bargain rental, and hoping for the best. But
and then I do remember like reserving, like you're like, gosh darn it, like. You know what I'm saying? Like the one you wanted was out, so like you could actually put it on reserve. So then next Friday you go there and you're like, yeah, got my copy. It's just
you need to reserve 10 things I hate about you. That was like 2002, and then
because Heath Ledger is the shit. And anyway, we didn't know he was going to be the Joker at that point, but he really was.
He was young back then.
He was awesome. But yeah, dude. It's just experiences like going to the mall to get your picture taken, going to Blockbuster, going to Toys R Us, You know what I mean? Like all these, even Best Buy now. Best Buy was cool. Like you're right. Like there was a time when Best Buy was exciting, and now it's just kind of like, meh.
Yeah,
So
like, I mean, do you remember a store called Circuit City?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, they're gone. They closed up in like 2000 something.
What was that place called? Radio Shack.
Radio Shack. They
Mhm.
filed for bankruptcy and they closed. Like,
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
kind of funny that these happen to all be like electronic stores.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
just, I didn't plan that. It just happened that way.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is kind of like the trend is, I think it's just kind of as technology progresses, we're less and less reliant on brick and mortar kind of places anymore. So
You know you posted a picture the other day online.
Yeah.
Of a throwback, and you were in some very baggy pants.
Oh Jesus.
And you were in a very, very interesting shirt.
You have got to, okay, so in post editing, you should like throw that up. So what, do you have a point to this, or do you want me to talk about that picture?
I think you mentioned something about Spencer Gifts. Like,
oh, Spencer Gifts.
Is that not like that store?
Was the store. That was
How is that store still around?
Is it? It still is, isn't it? It still is.
Yeah. It's got the garage door that like goes up and it's all graffitied.
It was cool. It was cool like when I was a kid. Now I feel like it's the most white trash,
gross,
kind of like low, you know what I'm saying? Like, like if you want to get some marijuana decor and like a Playboy blacklight responsive, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, so
I want a hemp t-shirt.
Yeah. So the picture that I posted that Justin is referencing, my buddy from the Army just posted a picture on his birthday of me like when I was 19, and I was brand new like in the Army, and I was wearing Jinko jeans, which were like the ginormous like denim looking skirt jeans back in the day, and and I had like a hoodie on that I had like a 311 iron-on patch that I probably got from Spencer Gifts is what I was talking what he's talking about. But yeah, dude, it's crazy the way.
God, I'm looking at it right now.
You're looking at it?
Yeah.
You got to post it because I'm making the most ridiculous face in it. And there's a reason for that face. I was obsessed with the band Korn back then too. And those freaking idiots from Korn, all their pictures look like that, where they're just like making like weird, like they just pose all like weird faces. And like, I was like, I got to pose like Korn, my idols. And like, I'd even have friends in the Army back then be like, why do you make the stupidest faces in all your pictures? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm cool.
How old were you in this photo?
I was like 19 back in that photo. So
we're talking like 20 years ago.
I don't know what it is.
How is that store still around though? Like, how is that?
It's because
it surprises me.
I think it's because there will always be a need for like really tasteless decor, like blacklight responsive bullshit, like, you know what I mean, like just weird things that light up and spin around. Like that'll always be like, there's always a market for that, you know.
A cheap baseball cap that has like a dick on it, like, that's what they sell, right? Like,
yeah, like weird like trucker hats that say like, I like to drink, you know. Like,
exactly. Yeah, I think that's like the prime place where people go for like those bachelor and bachelorette parties, like
get like penis,
or like shaped, where they get their white elephant gift party, you know.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, when I was a kid, the big thing in those stores were the needle thing where you could like press your hand into it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it grosses me out to think of how many people touch that, because every time I went in there, I took that thing and I went and I put my face on there, and like sometimes I'd even stick my tongue out. I was like, and I put it in there. Like, I still remember the taste of it. It was like very metallic and
oh my god,
disgusting.
Could you imagine that today? Like people would have a heart attack today with COVID.
Oh my god,
people would freak out.
Yeah, I seriously did stick my tongue out in that thing like several times. Like every time.
I bet I did too. I bet
every time. Yeah.
Or your eyeballs are getting poked and up in your nostrils. And...
I'd make a weird face and just press it in there. And be like, oh yeah.
They're going in your mouth. Like we didn't care.
I didn't give it. Yeah, it was fine. And then
we ate dirt back then. I mean,
ate dirt.
It was I didn't wash my hands. Like,
right.
You know, I don't know.
All right, buddy.
Here's another one though too.
Yeah.
That is that I have actually written down on my little cheat sheet here is is it's still in business, but how in the hell is it still in business? Because I thought it was a fad and I thought it would have faded out by now, like emo music.
Oh yeah.
But Hot Topic. How is Hot Topic still around?
Oh my God. Dude, hold that thought. I've got to do a quick bathroom break, but I really want to get into Hot Topic with you because I've got stories about this store too. So, okay, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. All right.
Yeah. All right, that's our show. Thanks for watching Stay at Home Dads.
You know the drill, guys. Blah, blah, blah. Hit that like button, subscribe.
We'll catch you on the flip side.